This is Isabel. She's getting bigger. Aren't you? Good girl. Your babies are doing a day or two, huh? They do. Good girl. Good girl. Any day now. We'll probably video it and maybe we'll share it depending on how it goes. Okay, today I thought we would do some lemon bars, and I was trying to find a recipe that I used before, and I couldn't get the one that I wanted. I'm just going to wash my hands from the dog. So the lemon bar recipe that I used before had yogurt, and it was so moist and so delicious, but today we don't have, I can't find it, I don't know. So we're just going to use one. And then I made I made pizza the other day and extra dough just yesterday night. So we're going to try donuts out, and hopefully they'll fill out. We'll see. But the scripture that's been on my heart, that's like for me, what I really need to work on is respecting Thomas and just really loving him for who he is, and just seeing him in the positive light, you know, being thankful for all the good things that he is and does. So this is Ephesians 5, and it's talking about marriage and our job. I'll read the whole thing that I think is applicable, but then I'm just going to focus on my part as a woman, as a wife. And it says, giving thanks always for all things unto God and the Father, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, submitting ourselves one to another in the fear of God. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the Savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. And husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. No, I don't have socks on. Other translations also say, and this, wives, submit to your husbands. It says, wives, respect your husbands. Wives, honor your husbands. So husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. I love that part, because I think a lot of times when we read this, we just think about, you know, women, honor and respect your husbands. Men, love your wives. But it's like, not just loving your wives in action, but loving them with the washing of water by the word, by the Bible, that he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. For he that loves his wife loves himself. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, even as the Lord the church. And I talked about in a previous show about children honor your parents, and then there's a scripture that says to the parents to honor your children. I was just having a deja vu, which maybe I'll do some research and do one on deja vu, but for me, I always feel like I'm in the right place at the right time, unless the feeling is a bad feeling when I get deja vu, and then I'll pray. And in this one, it was a good feeling, but one where I will need to kind of take action, like talk to a friend. So Ephesians 5 is talking about marriage and the church and loving one another. And then Ephesians 6, the beginning of 1 says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise. Because in Exodus 20, I believe, where the 10 commandments are given, it says, honor your father and mother that your days may be long. And then it says here, that it may be well with thee, and thou may live long on the earth. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath. So don't make them become angry, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. I've been praying, Lord, help me to respect Thomas and really love him. And I was remembering a friend said, if someone was an alcoholic going to AA or a swearer going to whatever group that would help not swear, as a Christian, we're not dealing with sin. Jesus dealt with sin on the cross. We don't own it. It's not ours. And we're born again. We're new flesh. And we're tempted. And if we do fall and we do sin, we come to God with it. Lord, I'm sorry for this. Repent. God, help me to not do this anymore. But it's not something that we own, that we claim as our identity as, I'm an angry person. I'm not going to own that. I'm going to say, I'm a good mom. I'm a happy, kind person. And there's times when I might be frustrated or short. And I'm going to pray, Lord, help me to be patient. Give me patience. Help me to be kind. Help me to be more understanding. Help me to see my kids as the wonderful, amazing blessings that they are. So I was remembering that, and I might not be able to cook as well as I'm talking because I haven't cooked this before. And so I have to use my brain to use the recipe book while I read it. But let me just throw on some oil and see. I'm going to do like a half inch or more because I want my donuts to have half of the thickness of the donut immersed in this. This is grapeseed oil. I haven't used that for donuts before. I've just used olive oil. So I'm not a health nut, but I do believe that it's important to have, good, healthy fruits and vegetables that are good for your body. So I'm getting out a bowl. We can just go along this with me. And this says 1.5 cups of flour, half cup of powdered sugar. Okay, so powdered sugar, half cup. I've got a whole cup measure, and I am just halving it here. Okay, half cup, 1.5 of flour. So, as I was thinking about that, Lord, make me more patient with Thomas, more respectful. The kids is the patient one. To think about it in the way of, I do respect him, and really I do in many areas. I absolutely respect his knowledge and knowing in anything mechanical, electrical, fixing things. I totally trust him on those. So a recipe that I did before for the donuts, the gal was really smart and she wanted to give rise time, and it helped my donuts be way better. So typically I'll get the oil on my hands so my dough isn't sticking to my hands. And apologize that I did not record again how to make the dough. So I'm going to make this shape. Normally my donuts are not that beautiful. I'm just going to make a shape and pat it out and then just see if it'll rise. You could, if you want these to be beautiful, like here, we'll do this for show a little bit more. Let me get a heart. Wish I had a better heart out, but this will be fine. I'll cut out a shape with a cookie cutter. Really works amazing. So in that sense, I'll get a little bit more out. Now, if you want these to rise better because they're cold, like refrigerator dough, you can put these in the oven. Just heat your oven, put on like 200 maybe for a minute, and then turn it off, and then stick this in just the warm oven for 5 to 10 minutes just while it rises. I left my dough out on the counter because I wanted it to have a little bit more of a sourdough flavor. So this is sticking to my pan more than I'd like. So I'm just going to pour this all over here. So I use real butter, not fake. And I like to use olive oils for cookies. coconut oil. I don't have Crisco in the house. I probably have not had a fake fat oil or grease for a while. It's kind of rainy and windy out, and I was just wondering if Thomas was coming home. So we just went to the dentist this morning for dental appointments, and that was great. I guess let me just kind of finish my topic was just realizing, thinking positively, and believing that I do respect him instead of thinking that I don't and waiting, you know, always living in the waiting. Someday I will respect him, you know, someday God will give me the grace to love him. But just realizing, I mean, sure, yeah, he's not perfect. He has faults, but I definitely love him for all the good that he is. And I'm not perfect. I have faults, too. Okay. I'm not sure what the kids are doing. Earlier, they were playing with their... We got a go fish game, and so it's the spins around, and then the fish kind of open their mouths, and you put your fishing pole, and you catch them and pull them out. And they were playing that really quietly and nicely, but I'm going to just try to scrape my sides down, because it dried a little bit on the top. A good thing to do, if you're not going to saran wrap it, the dough, I was kind of lazy, but would be to oil it around the top of it if you're going to let it sit out and not use it for a while. So I definitely want my oil to be really hot, like boiling, very hot. That way it's only sitting in there for a minute or so. This dough I made pizza with yesterday. I always put a little bit of sugar. So I did probably like 3 cups water, 6 or 8 cups of flour, and then a half cup of sugar, just to kind of give you a ratio of how much sugar I'm putting in. If I was only making it for the donuts, I would have for sure put more sugar in it. And I will use this same recipe for cinnamon rolls. Anything bread, really. Rolls. So we'll still do the lemon bars, because those are kind of important to me, because I bought lemon stuff, lemon product. Okay, that's getting warm. You know, there's probably a legitimate temperature that you should get your donuts, get your oil before you throw the donuts in. And I don't know it, but I will just throw them in when I'm ready. So, I wanted to show you Isabel, and then I wanted to talk about if we want to be something or do something, you know, be somebody, do it. Like today is the day. Take action, pursue it. Pursue that goal. No more get around to it. Maybe later's, putting off, postponing, you know, none of that. If you want to do it, do it. If you want to bike a marathon, 5 miles, work your way up to it. I know that it isn't going to be, okay, tomorrow I'm going to go ride my bike for 5 miles. I probably could do it, but it probably would be tiresome in the end. So I'm not even going to try. But you can, you know, work yourself up to it. I guess I'm not going to say that I would be able to just, okay, ta-da, from now on I will always forever have good emotions towards Thomas. You know, no, I'm human, and I know that there's times when I'll fall, but I'm going to try. I'm going to keep trying. So on this same note of learning to respect our husbands, I feel like I've been doing really good, you know, matured a lot over the past few years, where I normally would have had my nose in all this business about, like, getting our trusses. It was freezing for a week, and that would have been perfect for not having it be so muddy, to get them up there, up to our barn. And he just couldn't do it because he had actual work he needed to do, which made sense. And then it started raining, and I would have had a tendency to be really bossy, controlling, negative, and just lay it on him about it. And I did text and say, hey, it's raining, and he called me thinking I was really going to be upset. Yeah, I know it's raining, but I really need to do this work. And I just said, okay, you know, that's fine. This is your deal, your shop. Hopefully I'm not repeating myself. I know I told this to a friend. Anyway, some of these aren't turning out as good. Okay, so the first ones that I did, I'm going to put on, my oil might not be hot enough, so I'm only going to put 2, or that's going to make the temperature go down too much. And then if you want to make like a wonderful little maple syrup, you would use like a brown sugar to make like the maple bar flavor. So for Christmas, as adults, at my family's house, we were playing holiday games. I'm not sure why it's just not cutting very good for me. Okay, there we go. That kind of did something. Oh, you know what? I think I need to oil my pan a little bit too. And we played a game that was kind of a trivia, how well do you know America? And we did couples. And it was funny because there were several times where the husband and wife, we would have a different, even Thomas and I, or my sister, or whoever, we'd have a different answer. You know, like Thomas picked A and I picked B as the answer. And the men were such good guys. They went with what the wife said. You know, we kind of vetoed it or whatever. And we were wrong. The husbands were right, like almost every time. It was really kind of interesting on the thought of respecting our husbands and husbands respecting the wives. Or, I mean, they do, but men get it. And we kind of don't, I feel like, as women. And in the marriage book that I'm reading, he's talking about how we understand that there has to be someone in charge in the family. You know, we as women understand that. And he explained it really good because he was talking to the guys. I think the guys would really understand it. But there's a chair. There's a CEO chair. Like if your family is a business company. So I like these racks. Love them. I'm not too concerned about the oil dripping on my counter. I'll just wipe it up. And the other thing I do for donuts is these tongs. These work great for flipping and for picking them up and setting them on the rack to dry. Okay, these are turning out really cute. That heart one looks great. So the wives just will take that spot. You know, if there's no leader, somebody's going to step up and lead. And how he described it was, you know, everybody who has a question or concern about life or, you know, can I go stay the night at so-and-so's house? Can I buy a car? Can I do this after school tomorrow? Can I eat this candy out of the cupboard? They go to the CEO. They go to the person in charge to find the answer. They go to that CEO chair. And whoever's in that chair, you know, is basically going to answer the questions. And so the author was just saying that, you know, husbands, your wives would be so happy to step out of the chair and let you men take charge, make the decisions, you know, but somebody's got to, and it really is a big responsibility. And since he's a pastor, he was talking about that, his pastoral responsibilities as a person. I'm going to turn this up a bit because I want it to be a little warmer. That it really is a big burden. And we women don't really want it, but we can do it and we're good at it. But we would so prefer our men to be taking the lead and taking charge. Let's see, 4:40. I'm not going to go too long for you guys. So that's the donuts. Here's a whole goo pile. That's all I've got. We'll see if those rise at all. But I definitely want to finish the whole thing. I'm not sure how many more videos I'm going to do. I guess I kind of feel like in prayer, I'm not 100% sure about doing them. And it might be something that happens in the future. You know, I don't know about the timing. I guess it's one of those things as far as like destiny. Are you waiting on God to tell you yes before you do anything, or are you just going to do it and then get the answer from him later? And I feel like for this is something that I think it's a good thing, and I'm not really sure what he said about it. Like, I feel like he is saying yes. I know that sounds bad. Like, why am I doing the videos? Okay, so with the lemon bars, it says grate a teaspoon lemon and a teaspoon of orange, but I just have lemons. I didn't realize that orange was going to be part of the recipe. So really, you don't want these to be sitting very long. And I'll do this funny thing. I'll kind of set these on top of somebody else so that they can be, oh, there's a little catch. Kind of like draining off. And it looks like my shape is kind of messing up if I don't have enough oil on this cookie sheet. So be sure to oil your cookie sheets a little bit more. Okay, that's that. Oops.
What are you making, Mommy?
I'm doing donuts this time, love. Yeah. So this flour one made him look ugly. I would not do the flour one again. Yeah, I was really craving like a chocolate donut, so I thought I'd make donuts. Does that sound good, guys?
Yeah. Those don't look like donuts, because donuts have a little hole in them.
Oh, some donuts have holes and some do not.
For this.
Oh, they're following me.
Oh,
Yeah, I made hard donuts. Aren't those fabulous? Okay, now my oil is really good temperature. These should just almost cook instantly when you set them down in there.
gun.
What do you have?
I have a gun.
Okay, cool.
Put
I would pull it if it had a dart in it. Samuel, can you go find a bullet thing for that?
No, I put a crayon in it.
Oh, there's a crayon. Well, I can't help you there, buddy. Okay, we are cooking up. You're doing great. You could shoot it if you had a crayon. Do you guys like it when I'm nice and respectful to Daddy?
Yeah.
Am I a lot of times or only a little bit?
Only when you for a little bit, but not when you boss them around and that I don't like having the boss go around.
You shouldn't boss me around.
Yeah. I want to shoot.
I don't like it when you boss me around.
I don't like when
I know. You tell me to be nice to Daddy.
Because God doesn't like it.
You're right. God wants me to be nice to Daddy, huh?
Yeah, and I don't really like that you hurt his heart.
I hurt Daddy's heart?
Yeah.
I don't think his heart gets hurt about it. I'm not
I'm
being mean to him. Generally, we're talking and you're kind of misunderstanding, but maybe my tone doesn't sound very nice. Or sometimes Daddy deserves it, even if you don't know that. I'm not going to pull it back because my hands are gooey, man. So I'm not.
Because she's making donuts. See?
Mm-hmm.
That's what Mom is making.
Okay.
I'm making donuts.
Yes, love. So these maybe needed to cook a little bit longer, but obviously these are something homemade. These are not store-bought. These are going to be different, very different. I guess a little bit heavy. I haven't perfected the not making them heavy. It might be having to do with the oil. And again, my point in these videos is just to show you, really, don't be afraid to try new things. If you've never cooked it before and you want to do it. If it's not a food you ever want to do, then don't. So yeah, we went to the dentist and then we got back around noon and did breakfast for lunch. I don't like you being that loud, honey. And and I sent him off to work. So, I don't know when he's going to be home. And really, frankly, I have no idea what he's going to do. Samuel? Noah? That's too loud. Go. Thank you. Do something else. So, sadly, a friend of ours lost her cow just the week before Christmas. And she had a couple of calves on the cow. And it's just, I don't know, she's busy, so she gave us the calves. And I was hoping they would have an auction for us to get a milk cow just the Tuesday after Christmas. But they did not. Noah. Samuel, I don't like what you guys are doing right now. Okay? And Thomas was so smart, thinking outside the box, like if I would just rely on him a little bit more, such a genius. He said, well, why don't you look up some other sales, cow auctions, and see if there's any other ones that are going. Since this particular auction yard is the only one I really ever go to, I hadn't even thought about that. And they're not having a sale till like the second week in January. So I obeyed him. I thought, okay, that's a great idea. I'll look that up. And see when, if there's another auction that's having a sale. And sure enough, there was one that was just a little bit further drive than I normally do. But not too bad. I'd never been there before. We have a little 2-horse bumper pull that I'm still getting used to backing. And so I wasn't sure how easy it was going to be to get around there. But I went, and it was hard to see what they had for sale. They only had maybe, 30 head, and one was a Jersey, but she wasn't in milk. She was just a little heifer. And I thought, well, she looks tiny and young, and she looks cute. I'll get her. So I did. I bid on her, and then, other beef cows were coming in, and I didn't see any Jerseys out there in milk, like nothing. So I wasn't even going to stay. And the funny thing, too, there's a bunch of grandpas that go to the other one that I always see, and they're so wonderful, and they always give the kids a compliment, or they give the kids a sucker, or buy them a cookie, or a mint, or candy, or something. And say hi, and sometimes I'll sit by them, and they're so nice. I guess I just feel like they never bit me up on my cows. And they were talking, I joked with Thomas, I said, I hope that they're going to be there so that they will kind of, I guess in a way, let the auctioneer know that I was a legitimate buyer. Because sometimes if you go to an auction and you're new, they won't have a clue. If you really know, like, for instance, some livestock will sell by the head and some will sell by the pound. And a new person going in thinks that something just sold for $100 when really it sold for $1 a pound. $100 per 100, $100 per the 100 pounds. And anyway, so they don't really want to have that hassle in the office. And so I was really excited to see like half of the old guys that I normally see were there. It was really cool. I guess I just felt like it was really a God thing. We prayed on the way there. Lord, help us to not make any wrong turns, not to get lost. That I would be able to find a good parking spot. And I did. I parked kind of way out off in the back, and that was easy. And then to load out, it was a back-end situation, but I got it pretty easy, so that was fine. And after I bought this little heifer, the guys were razzing each other about the price, and you're bidding me up, and they were just joking to each other. You're buying all this breed, all the Holsteins, and well, there's a bunch of Jerseys in the back. And I thought, oh, that's awesome, yay! Even though he wasn't talking to me, they were competition, but they're kind of friends. I don't know really how that works, but yay, we're getting these donuts made. I'm probably going to cut the video and then do a new one with just the lemon bars, since this is getting a little bit longer. So I stayed the whole time, stayed a couple hours, and I only brought enough money for one cow. But the first little girl was so cheap, I was able to get her, and another cow came through that was so little. I haven't checked her teeth to know how old she is yet, but she's probably maybe a 3-year-old. She was so happy. It was amazing. So these calves, we've had them for the week and a half, and they didn't want a bottle. I gave them milk in a bucket. It took a few days for them to finally realize what that was, and they liked it. So they've just been eating hay and calf manna this whole time. And I was praying, Lord, help me to get a good cow that's actually going to be tame and sweet and like these calves. So that's always my prayer when I'm getting a cow, is that they will be calm, safe for the kids, safe for me. And there's been a few times where I've got one that was really rank, that like she blew out of the trailer trying to run me over, through the fence over, and she only stuck around because we had another cow that was her friend. Okay, so there's no more dough. All of this I will set aside and wash in a little bit later. That's all I think I'm going to need this for. And then we'll just wait for this to be done. I'll probably turn that off because it doesn't need to be on still. So yeah, I also was praying on the way home. Our 2-horse trailer has flap doors, but it doesn't have a top. Like for where the horse's butt would sit, there's opening on the door. The door isn't a full length. And I've seen cows jump out of those, leaving the auction, and then they have to, tie a pallet. Well, typically we're hauling horses or an itty bitty goat, something little that isn't going to get out. And generally a dairy cow, they can jump like a deer, but they're normally good girls. They've been in a dairy, they know the routine, they know to behave and be calm, and they've been around people, pretty good. But still, you never know if one's going to want to get out of there or not, because they could if they wanted, absolutely. So I was praying on the way home that they would stay in the trailer and not get out. And they were perfectly fine. We came home, I did the gate, came in the field, drove up to the garage. We have the lean-tos where we've got the cows, the babies right now. I wish it was cemented, but it isn't. So I'll probably put this in a cup in the fridge and then use it on my eggs for breakfast for a few days. I've also done this with coconut oil. That's the best. I hadn't even thought about that for right now because I was trying to be fast, but coconut oil for your donuts. Super, super good. So I'll probably make a glaze frosting and a chocolate one, and then I'll make a brown sugar, kind of like a maple one, to go over the top of these. And then we'll just eat them. Cream cheese frostings are really, really good. Those are great. So I'll just finish up my cow story. So we have cows out in the field, and then we have the 2 babies in the barn. And the ones in the field are yearlings. They have never had babies. They don't even know what they're talking about, but they're bawling at the babies in the garage that they're upset that they can't be together. So the ones in the garage are a horse. They're like squeaky, no voice because they're bawling all the time. So I pull up with the cows, and all of a sudden the babies start mooing. And the mama turns around, puts her head over, mooing, and she's going to jump out. She's like, I'm out of here. I see babies. I'm thinking, yay, she loves babies. But, oh man, Thomas isn't home. I don't think I can back the truck up I didn't want to scratch my white Charger. But I did it. Pulled forward, straightened up, backed up close enough, opened the panels, threw them in, and oh my goodness. One of the babies was smart, instantly nursing on her. The other one, it took him a second of looking around and he finally nursed on her, and she stood there and she loved him, and she was so happy to be a mama. Looking at her, there was one teat that's really short that the machine had a hard time probably working. Sometimes you'll get first time freshening cows that are 2-3-year-olds, the machine can't get. So she's probably 2. So she has mastitis in the one quarter, which I'll put some antibiotics in it, and hopefully the cows can nurse it out and fix it. But I'm just so excited that God was so good that we made it there. We made it home. You know, from Thomas's amazing, great idea. And these babies are 5 weeks old. Or at least when I got them, they were about 4 to 5 weeks old. No, you can't hit this kickstand. So for me, obeying Thomas and honoring him, and he was a sweetheart, and he lent me his spending money for the couple of weeks. Samuel, take that toy out. No toys in the kitchen. Out, boys. Okay, I guess let me wash my hands so I can turn the camera off. Yeah, I was just so happy that those cows, they nursed, and that cow, she was just dripping with milk. You know, maybe they'll milk them in the morning, maybe not, and they just take them to the cell, and the cows are waiting to be sold. And anyway, her teats are too tiny that I wouldn't want her as a milk cow, like for me to milk her, but for the babies, I was so happy. And she's so tiny, like just a small bone, just a little cow, just really a good girl. Okay, so that's my donuts. And then I'm going to do a frosting. I'll probably do a cream cheese because we've been on here for a while. Which I'm going to use just butter, cream cheese, and powdered sugar. Mix it till it's thick and put probably some cocoa in there because I want a chocolate version. And I feel like I'm getting a little bit chubby in the middle, and so I'm thinking about doing a no sugar for January, and just be able to show you guys some of the recipes that I use that are like with honey, or how to deal with not doing sugar. So I don't do it specifically hardcore where there's absolutely no fructose. I will do juices, you know, like I'll drink orange juice, I'll drink apple juice. I'm not considering those a sugar, but I'm not going to have pop or ice cream or popsicles or, you know, the cakes and cookies. If I've made them with honey, I'll eat them. But I'm not, and I don't consider things that say no sugar as not sugar. I don't eat that. I don't like fake sugars that are processed that are not even sugar. That fake sweeteners, I believe, are super, super bad for you. So a candy that says sugar-free, I'm not going to eat. Chocolate, I'm not going to eat. If it's really dark chocolate, I might, depending on the sugar content. Yogurts have sugar in them, and fruits, I'll eat those. Those aren't off the list. Graham crackers, probably those are fine. Anyway, it's just something that I'll do to have less sugar. I feel like sugar helps make you chunky. For me, anyway. Bye, guys. Love ya.